An inbox you can actually trust. Most people don't trust their inbox. Even when it's quiet, it doesn't feel safe to ignore. Because you're never sure what might be waiting. An urgent request. A forgotten task. A conversation that suddenly needs attention. So you keep checking. Not because you want to, but because not checking feels risky. And that constant uncertainty keeps your attention tied to email, even when you're trying to focus on something else. But here's the interesting part. The problem isn't the number of emails you receive. It's that your inbox doesn't help you understand what actually matters. Everything arrives in the same place. Important requests sit next to informational updates. Action items sit next to messages that don't involve you at all. And your brain has to sort all of it manually, every single time you look. That's why your inbox feels heavy. Not because of volume, but because of uncertainty. Trust disappears when everything looks equally urgent. Now imagine something different. Imagine opening your inbox and already knowing what kind of messages are waiting. What needs action? What only needs awareness? What doesn't require you at all? Instead of reacting to everything, you respond to what actually matters. This is where intent-based sorting and fewer check-ins come together. Because once emails are grouped by what they actually require, you don't need to constantly look for surprises. And once you check email at deliberate moments instead of all day, you stop reacting to noise. But here's the missing piece. For this system to work, you need confidence that nothing important will slip past you while you're focused elsewhere. And this is where AI becomes quietly essential. Not because it writes emails. Not because it automates conversations. But because it continuously recognizes intent in the background. It can see which messages contain requests, which ones require decisions, and which ones simply provide information. So when you open your inbox, you're not starting from chaos. You're starting from structure. And structure creates trust. Because trust means you don't have to check constantly. You know that when you sit down to process email, the messages that truly need attention will already stand out. Everything else can wait. And once that trust is there, something shifts. Email stops being a source of tension. It becomes predictable, contained, manageable. You don't feel pulled toward your inbox every few minutes. You're able to finish work without wondering what might be happening in the background. And interestingly, your responses often improve. Because you answer messages with clarity instead of urgency. You see related conversations together. You notice patterns. You avoid repeating yourself across threads. And you make fewer small decisions throughout the day. Which means you have more mental energy left for work that actually benefits from your attention. An inbox you trust isn't empty. It isn't perfectly organized. And it doesn't require complicated rules. It simply works in a way that matches how attention actually functions. Intent is recognized. Messages are handled in batches. And your focus is protected instead of constantly interrupted. Something else changes when your inbox becomes predictable. You stop mentally carrying email with you after work. Normally, even when you close your laptop, a part of your attention stays open. You wonder if you forgot to answer someone, or if something urgent arrived late in the day. That small uncertainty follows you into the evening. But when your inbox works as a system instead of a stream, that tension fades. You know messages are being sorted by what they actually require. You know nothing important disappears just because you're not looking at it. And that makes it easier to disconnect. Work stays at work. Your attention comes back to you. Over time, this creates something many people haven't felt in years, the sense that your day has a clear ending. Email no longer stretches endlessly into every free moment. It becomes contained, manageable, and predictable. And when communication feels predictable, work itself starts to feel lighter. Not because there is less to do, but because your attention is no longer being pulled in every direction at once. And once that sense of control returns, you begin to notice something subtle in how you approach your work overall. Decisions feel less rushed. Conversations feel less reactive. And tasks no longer compete for attention in the same chaotic way. Because when your inbox stops acting like an endless source of interruption, your day regains a natural rhythm. You move from one thing to the next with intention, instead of being constantly pulled away mid-thought. And that rhythm matters. It's what allows deeper work to happen. It's what makes progress feel steady instead of fragmented. And it's what helps work feel sustainable again. Email doesn't disappear from your day, but it stops dominating it. And when communication finds its proper place, attention finally returns to where it has the most impact. The work, the conversations, and the moments that actually deserve it. In the next video, we'll look at something even more practical. Which emails actually deserve immediate attention, and which ones only feel urgent because of habit. Because once you stop treating every message as equal, email stops controlling your day. If this series is helping you rethink how work fits into your life, subscribe. This channel is about building systems that let you work with clarity instead of constant reaction.